May I come in? Please. Thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. Please. Please.
How are you, Syed Sadique?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you.
You're from
Manipur, sir.
Your hobby is very interesting. That is calisthenics.
Right, sir.
What is this?
Sir, it's a workout, home-based workout where we use our own body weight as resistance to build strength, flexibility, sir. And
What is different from gymnastic?
Sir, gymnastics, I believe, is considered a sport, and it's very strict also according regarding the rules also. In calisthenics, we are provided with a certain degree of improvisation. So that's the main difference, sir.
Is there any biomechanics involved in calisthenics during exercise, or it's a very simple workout as a different workouts such as push-ups, pull-ups, or some special technique involved in calisthenics?
Sir, I'm unable to understand the question. Biomechanics, I'm unable to understand the terms.
Suppose that there is a push-ups,
Right.
in a simple exercise. I don't know what is the meaning of calisthenics or gymnastic. I know the push-ups. How you define push-ups in terms of calisthenics?
Sir, in calisthenics, we do push-ups, but we focus in push-ups. We target certain points. For example, when we do the elevated push-ups, we target the upper area here. When we do the normal push-ups, we target the lower area here. So mostly it's based on some targeted, but along with the push-ups, normal push-ups, other parts of the body also gets targeted upon, sir.
Right. Recently, a famous Bollywood actor
Right.
performed marriage in Manipur. Tell me the ritual.
Sir, I have very limited information about the ritual, but I think I can overall. I think
Manipuri marriage style.
so it's different for the Meitei community. Different communities have different styles, sir. That was performed, I think, according to Meitei culture. So it's different from the Muslim culture, also the Kuki culture, the Nagara.
So are you not aware about that?
I'm a little aware of but I'm not sure exactly about it, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
हाय, क्या आप भी आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप पीसीएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? बहुत दिनों से आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी आपको सफलता नहीं मिली। भागदौड़ करने के बावजूद भी आपको कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा। सिर्फ आपका टेंशन बढ़ रहा है, आपका पेशेंस जवाब दे रहा है। इसी टेंशन को दूर करने और आपकी हर एक समस्या का समाधान लेकर आए हम, यानी ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। यहां हम आपको सिखाएंगे आईएएस और पीसीएस जैसे एग्जाम की तैयारी कैसे आसान तरीके से की जाती है, कैसे डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया जाता है, कैसे अनुशासन रखा जाता है। अगर आप भी चाहते हैं हम आईएएस और पीसीएस बने और अपनी जिंदगी के सारे सपने पूरे करें, तो अभी ज्वाइन करें ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। बिकॉज when we support the word selfless, the whole universe will support you endlessly.
So Syed, you cleared JRF.
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
That would be 2022 November, ma'am.
So you did not make use of it? You did not pursue MPhil or anything?
Not yet, ma'am. I haven't. It gives me 3 years time, so that time I cleared my first main, so I was focusing more on that, sir.
In 2018, you said. When did you
22.
22.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you are NET and JRF qualified.
Yes, ma'am.
And so your subject is public administration. And after your 12th, you've taken geography and public administration.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me something about map projections. In BA, did you do map projections? Cartography?
Cartography.
Map making?
Yes, ma'am. One paper was there for a semester. But sorry, ma'am, I'm not able to recall it.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about your father is a deputy superintendent of police.
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a lot of Manipuri violence. We've been hearing very unfortunate events in it. From the police perspective, tell us something about the violence, Manipur violence. What does your father report? What is the police perspective of that?
Ma'am, my father is in the vehicle department. He was recruited as a fitter there would be the mechanic for the police department only. So he was promoted last year only.
So he
as a
was not
DSP.
into active police.
No, man, he is not involved in the law and order section.
Okay. But what is your take on Manipur violence?
Ma'am, I think it was due to some perceptions that some community, that is the Kuki community, would be left out. They were being left out in the developmental process also. But regarding the ST issue, the recommendation, I think they were not taken into confidence. So that was the main issue, I believe. Though there were many other issues, for example, the anti-immigration drive, the anti-encroachment drive also in the reserve forest area. However, that ST status recommendation by the High Court, Manipur High Court, that was the trigger point. I think a better way could have been through, I think, stakeholder discussion would have been better, according to me.
Okay. You've written watching Shumang Leela. What is that?
Ma'am, in Manipur, there's a traditional theatre form where there are two types. Either all male or either all female artists perform the theatre. It's based on the normal socio-economic problems or political, or maybe sometimes historical, or some related to the contemporary themes, such as recently in COVID time also, for awareness generation, Leela was performed. So mostly it's a courtyard play. So it's performed in a community hall. So people would surround the stage from all sides. Artists would be coming in and then performing. It's
Is
mostly
it like something like Nukkad Natak, which we see here?
Nukkad Natak, yeah, similar to that, ma'am, I would say. But I think in Nukkad Natak, I think there's no dress and props. But in Shumang Leela, mostly people are dressed very, I think, sophisticatedly.
Okay. Which was the last one, and what issue you had watched it?
The last
The
Shumang Leela,
last Shumang Leela you watched, and what issue were they presenting?
it was Chairak, ma'am. It would translate to punishment. It was based on corruption in the state bureaucracy. There was the State Public Service Commission had an allegation, or the Manipur High Court also said that the 2016 exams were cancelled. So it was based on that. So it was about a vigilante justice seeker on that part only.
So you consider it to be a very powerful medium for community expression. You feel so?
Yes, it has been historically and presently also regarding any
How
issue.
come it got restricted to Manipur? I have personally not heard of Shumang Leela. Maybe that's my shortcoming. But is it very restricted only to Manipur itself?
No, ma'am,
Or is it in the region? What is it?
Ma'am, there has been efforts to make it more famous. I think there in Shanghai Festival also it's performed at international.
Shanghai Festival.
Yes, ma'am.
India I'm talking about, yeah.
No, not Shanghai. It's Shanghai Festival. The
Shanghai
Shanghai, the elder service that
Okay.
Manipuri deer only.
Okay.
So we have a festival in Manipur. It's performed for international awareness. I think in NSD also every year it performs. It has been famous, I think, ma'am. There has been some stage also, some plays which have been played even in the Olympic. It was played once.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So you play football?
Yes, sir.
Which position you play?
Sir, I would play mostly forward wing. I can play, sir.
So you're striker.
Yes, sir. Striker, right wing.
Why India is not able to perform so great in football as in cricket, despite all the efforts and despite so much talent in India? What do you think are the reasons for that?
Sir, one reason would be the structure of football, sir. In cricket, what we have is there's a hierarchy of progression. But in football, we don't have hierarchy. Even after the ISL came, there was a tug of war between ISL and the already existing I-League. This is one reason. Secondly, sir, in football, what we need is not only the players, but also grooming from the grassroots level. But what we have is we try to rope in from the youngster level. But for football to be very famous, we only have, I think, around if one is famous at 17, 18, then he has a very long way to go. Around 30 is the prime age. But in India, what happens is 20 plus we try to recruit the player, for example, in ISF, then only we try to groom them. So we have very limited time to groom the players also. And however,
if I am playing a football in my village and I feel that I should play for India,
yes,
where will I go from like my village? Where should a player go to be part of the Indian team? Which organization, which club?
sir, state federations are there, sir. I think we can apply for it.
They
yes,
conduct trials.
Yes, sir. But that's not regular. That's the issue in Indian football.
Okay.
Trials and scouting, escort. There's scouting is a term we use in football, where the people from the federations go to different state league matches, and then they see the players, even youngster. Usually, it happens at a very young age. So after at a young age, they try to rope in. That's what happening in Europe. European clubs, they have a pure academy regarding to it. Barcelona academy, Real Madrid academy. We have.
You ever tried for the Indian team?
No, sir.
No.
Unfortunately, I couldn't. I was very injury prone, and after we had in Manipur, I was for a brief period of time. I was part of the Neroka club. My friend was part of it. 11, 12 standard. I was.
Just tell me there like three numbers whose sum and whose multiplication is same.
Three numbers.
Whose sum, when you add them or you multiply them, the result is same.
Anything multiplied by 0, I would say is.
How 0 plus 1 is 1, not 0.
Sorry, sir. I'm not unable to think of any numbers.
There's a fraction of extremism in Manipur. What are their demands? What are they demanding? Why they are not settling?
Regarding the insurgency issue.
Yeah.
Sir, a few are demanding regarding separation from the Manipur state. That's the one reason, because the instrument of accession which was signed, it has been alleged that the then king was forced to sign that agreement. So that's one issue. Valley West organization mostly is based on that issue, that they want a separate state or sovereign state. And the other ethnic militant groups such as the Kuki Militant National Organization or the NSCN-IM, these groups ideology is based on the ethnic identity. They want to establish a sovereign state within a state, or separate from the Indian states. Nagalim, for example, Kukiland, for example. Those are the main issues.
So what is their source of funding? How are they able to sustain insurgency against the Indian state? Indian state is such a powerful state. Despite that, they are continuing for so many years. What is their source of funding?
So the source of funding is, as we are all aware of, Manipur's proximity with the Golden Triangle and Myanmar's unstable area. Also, the border, Indo-Myanmar border, it's very porous, not fenced properly, and geography also adds to it. So we have a very porous border. Trade is happening through the Indo-Myanmar border, through Moreh also. So organized crime, it's very high there, mostly the drug trafficking. So militant organization depends on the channels of organized crime. So so recently also said there has been boom after the Myanmar instability and the Manipur ethnic clashes. There has been a boom in drug trade, as highlighted by the UN reports. So that's the main funding source.
Manipur is such a beautiful state. You have major tourist attractions and everything, but despite that, it is not able to attract as many tourists as it should be. So let's say you have to address an all India conference where secretaries from Department of Tourism from all over India are there. So what will be your appeal to such an audience to come to Manipur and visit there and promote tourism?
So firstly, I think I would focus more on the security aspect. People don't want to visit a place which is very disturbed. So northeastern states, though they are very beautiful, nature, ecotourism is being promoted there, but the tourist footfall is less because of the perception of threat to their lives. That's the one issue we should, I think, focus more on. Priority should be given to security, and so the major tourist spot that should be highlighted. there are caves we have in, I think, Thailand. The Southeast Asians are famous for caves, but Northeast is also famous for caves, but few people know it. We need to highlight it. Even in Manipur, we have the Tharaon cave, which was in during the World War II, being very famous for when the INA come in only. So these kind of, I think, a connect with the historical incident or the freedom struggle. This kind of connection should be built, and it should be highlighted that these things that happened. And also, sir, the focus should also be on the ethnic beauty of certain areas. The INA.
What is the historical connect of Manipur with Subhash Chandra Bose? There's a place in Manipur, right? There's a museum also.
Yes, there's a INA museum in Moirang, sir. It was the first place where the INA forces planted the Indian flag, sir. It is, I think, in the notice is the highest place where the Indian flag is still standing. So the INA, with the support of the Japanese troops, they came in through the Indo-Myanmar border, and there was two strategy to. One is through the Imphal Tirim road, and second is through the Dimapur road. However, the then British army, with the help of the Indians in the army, British army, they were able to prevent the Japanese intrusion into the Indian states, sir.
Why the airport in Manipur is in Dimapur and not in the capital city?
I beg your pardon, sir?
Why the airport in Manipur is in Dimapur? Dimapur is in Nagaland, right?
Yes, sir.
So why not in Imphal? There's no airport in Imphal or Manipur.
There is an airport in Imphal, sir.
Okay, flights are there?
Yes.
Okay.
There's an international airport in Imphal,
Okay,
Tulial
thank
Airport.
Which G20 meeting was held in Manipur?
Ma'am, as far as I can remember, it's a business 20 meeting, I think.
What is the difference between new public management and new public service?
Ma'am, in new public management, that came around 1980s, influenced by the rise of market economy. So it focused more on bringing the principles of public management, that is the private principles, into the realm of public administration. So the focus was more on performance accountability. We have entrepreneurial spirit of the government. So with the influence, we had reforms in the PSUs, the Mini Ratna Maharatna that came after that only. New economic policies, we had the voluntary retirement scheme. After that we had, but after that only there was a model new public service by Robert and Janet Denhart. So they focus more on the they allege that after new public management came, the focus of public administration shifted from the people towards maintaining efficiency. So democratic accountability, which is based should be the main focus of public administration, is neglected in the pursuit of efficiency. So they gave this new public service model to focus on the public aspect, public service aspect, and focus more on the democratic responsibility and accountability also.
What is the difference in terms of how they view people?
People in new public management, they are viewed as customers. In the new public service, they are viewed as citizens. They are part of the decision making and also part of the decision implementation, policy implementation.
Which art form from Manipur is part of UNESCO Intangible Heritage list? Which art form from Manipur?
Sankirtana, ma'am, Manipur Sankirtana, I believe.
And which is the latest that has been added in this from India, in this list?
Ma'am, as far as I can recall, it was Durga Puja.
There's one
From-
more that has been added after that.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I'll look into it, ma'am.
Do you think social media has deepened identity politics?
Yes, ma'am, I believe to a certain extent it has. Identity politics, because there are a lot of voices which were not able to which were voices which were unheard. But social media has provided them a medium through which they can express. So I think that has provided them a platform through which they could express their wills.
Do you think social media has connected the world or divided the world?
both aspect, ma'am, I would say. Connected in the sense that now we can, I think, see what's happening in the United States or faraway places. Even the Arab Spring happened due to it. So it's more connected. War or human rights violation happening in Iran or anywhere else, I think we always fight for it against injustice. Divided in the sense because there is lots of polarization. We say anything we want without any accountability. So that's the issue. I think there's lack of personal responsibility in use of social media.
So how do you think social media can be regulated?
Ma'am, regulated from the government perspective, there should be certain rules regarding the, I think, terms of service. For example, in YouTube or in Instagram, we have the community guidelines. These kind of guidelines can be formulated from the part of the social media company only. Also, the government should also regulate the social media intermediaries. However, ma'am, social media is a very big platform, and I think more rests on the people who are using it. I think responsible citizenry or people would be, I think, a more better approach in regulating social media behavior.
There was a point put up that, to deal with fake accounts and people using the cloud of anonymity, to fight that, there should be Aadhaar based verification of accounts.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is your take on that?
Ma'am, I believe linking everything with Aadhaar is very risky. Recently, I think it was, I'm not unable to recall the exact date, but in darknet, there has been data of Aadhaar, UIDAI sold out. So if we link everything with Aadhaar, I think if one information gets leaked, then everything is in the hands of the, I think, criminals. So I think there should be certain segregation where the social media accounts should be linked. And also, ma'am, social media accounts is not used to deliver social welfare schemes or the government programs. So I think it would violate the privacy also, ma'am, of the citizens, and it would restrict the freedom of speech also, because there would be continuous surveillance. So I believe, ma'am, I think it won't be very pragmatic to go for it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Syed, it was a wonderful conversation, and I think you're going to make it if everything happen in place.
Thank you, sir.
And you're calm, composed, everything is good.
Yeah, I would also say the same. Thoda sa, I would say that you give very long answers,
Yes,
Hmm.
ma'am.
and you also provide information which is not asked for, and you might get trapped because of that.
Right,
Because
ma'am.
right now, ma'am just asked about social media has divided all. So, but you're giving, answers like that, individual responsibility and all these things not asked. It is simply asking, and otherwise also with first question, you're giving very long answers.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can be a little more concise.
Okay.
Just tell what is asked.
Just tell you
And
got digressing.
for example, I ask about the funding or what is their demands. You can just say one word, explain it in one line, then move to the next point. Don't keep on explaining the same point that smuggling happens, this, that, open borders. What is the source of funding is the question, right?
Okay.
How it is funded, why it is funded is not.
Okay.
So focus on that. Try to give 2-3 answers, 2-3 points in that question only, and be specific about your answers. Rest all is fine. You have knowledge. Everything is fine.
Thank you.
I have the same feedback. You're calm, composed, affable personality. So, all the best.
Thank you.
All the best.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
हाय, क्या आप भी आईएएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? क्या आप पीसीएस की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं? बहुत दिनों से आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, लेकिन इसके बावजूद भी आपको सफलता नहीं मिली। भागदौड़ करने के बावजूद भी आपको कोई सॉल्यूशन नहीं मिल रहा है। सिर्फ आपका टेंशन बढ़ रहा है, आपका पेशेंस जवाब दे रहा है। इसी टेंशन को दूर करने और आपकी हर एक समस्या का समाधान लेकर आए हम, यानी ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। यहाँ हम आपको सिखाएंगे आईएएस और पीसीएस जैसे एग्जाम की तैयारी कैसे आसान तरीके से की जाती है, कैसे डिसिप्लिन फॉलो किया जाता है, कैसे अनुशासन रखा जाता है। अगर आप भी चाहते हैं हम आईएएस और पीसीएस बने और अपनी जिंदगी के सारे सपने पूरे करें, तो अभी ज्वाइन करें ओजांक गुरुकुल कैंपस। Because when we support the word selfless, the whole universe will support you endlessly.